Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Series 5 of Become a Legend Story Mode. Now this one's going to be slightly different, but essentially this episode is just going to be looking at where we go next, and there is going to be a vote. And that vote is going to be split into two different parts. First of all, there's going to be a in-comment vote. I'll be commenting the teams that we could be potentially moving to, and the one that you agree with, you go and like that comment, like my comment, and that will count. The combined votes, whichever of those teams win, will count for one vote. The rest of the votes will be decided by the patrons, the real lifeblood of this channel. And actually, a little secret message for the patrons: it's about to become a hell of a lot better to be a patron. I've neglected you for too long, but trust me, it's going to get a lot better. Anyway, that's to come. But for now, we have the business of finding out where exactly we're going to move. Now, I have progressed time. I've played a couple of games. We are just at the end of the transfer window now. We've got some things lined up. We will take a look at them. But first of all, I'm going to go through some of the teams that I considered. Now, I really did put in the hours for this one. And as you may remember, the 4 tiers, the potential transfer tiers, started at a 6 overall rating. Now, we didn't get there. We got to 5.9. Somehow we didn't quite make 6 on the final day. But because we made team of the season, I thought it's probably fair. And I would say the average, the aggregate of all the comments on the last episode sort of agreed with me. There were some variations as to what we should do, but I think we're all in agreement, relatively, that we still deserve a move to one of these tier 4 teams. 6 overall rating required. As you can see here from the list, they include the Chilean League. It's tempting. I mean, to be honest, anywhere from the Thai League would be a step up. And a move to a South American top tier league would be incredible. Playing in Chile, or the Liga Betplay de Mayor, the Colombian league, would be an incredible experience. There's no doubt about it. Also, we could be looking at Serie B, a league that we know very, very well. We could be at the Black Bridge playing alongside Brodge. It is tempting, but we're 71 rated now. We are a pretty good player. We had a difficult career early on in England, didn't quite make it. We stamped our authority, one of the best players in the league. I'm surprised we didn't win best player in the league. We didn't win it in the end, but we had a decent argument for it, to be fair, with the amount of goals and assists we got. But I think the second tier of Brazilian football would be a small step up, but not enough of a step up. And that leaves us in the average rating 6 zone with just the second tiers of the Spanish and Italian and also French leagues. Now, I had a good look. Obviously, the big thing is we need, ideally, a club that plays with a right back and a right winger. That was going to be key. I would accept right back and right midfielder. Retraining as a right winger, I feel like it gives us more potential options in the future, but there are still sides that play with right midfielders, and it sort of makes sense maybe to try and learn that position next. I think we can all agree that we need to learn to be an attacker. Defence has never quite been our specialist subject, has it? So in France, I found a few that would be worth a look. Cayenne were pretty good, they worked. 2 stars there. Grenoble Foot, again, would have worked. Some decent players there as well. Paris FC, I liked the idea of moving to Paris. That would have been interesting. And Troyes as well was an option, but none of them really appealed to me. And I'll be honest, what I did after finding teams that matched us tactically, I had a look at how they were doing in their league. Look, we want to be going to a team that is going to stand a good chance of getting promoted, thus allowing us top flight football in potentially 1 season's time. We go from the Thai League to potentially La Liga in just a few short months. It's doable. We're a good enough player now. Sure, we've got still a lot to learn, but unfortunately none of these French teams really had a route through to Ligue 1. Now in Serie B, there were quite a few in here that were of interest. Ascoli, they played a style that we would like. Benevento, a very, very good team. We'll go back to them because they really were in the final runnings. Perugia, I'm guessing it's Perugia, something like that. And Spezia, also considered. But yeah, Benevento came down to the very last few options. But I think the one thing that put me off here is they're not doing that well in the league, I don't think. But also, at both right back and right wing, we're up against some really talented players. Sure, we probably could have forced our way in, and this is an excellent team. And being managed by the legendary Pippo Inzaghi. Very, very tempting. But we didn't go for it. Also, having had a look at Benevento, it looks like a lovely place, but not that exciting. So that leaves us with the Segunda Division, the Spanish second division. It's the one that really caught my eye. We've never played in Spain in any series. Oh, is that right? That might be wrong. We've definitely played in Serie A. We've definitely played in Master League in the French second division. We've never played in the Spanish second division across all of the different series on this channel. So for that reason, I was excited. Almeria was the side that we earmarked early on. I sort of picked it at random. I was a bit rushed. But it totally fit. It totally fit. A good side, but a side that we can get into. Right winger and a right back who aren't that good. There's not much cover. There's a 71 rated right back as well. Maybe competition. I like the look of this attacking midfielder. He's a quality player. Decent striker there as well. So we were absolutely interested in them. And then the only other side that popped up that was of interest was Girona. Another side playing, well, not quite as interesting because they played a right mid, not a right winger. I feel like a right winger is what we want to retrain as, but what did attract me here is both the right midfielder and right back are pretty shit, and Leeds old boy, Samu Saiz, who's a quality player playing in the centre, and a big, strong, good at heading striker who we can plant some crosses onto in Stuani. It's a good team, a really good team, one that I felt we could get into. So it came down really for me to between Girona and Almeria. So the next stop, obviously, was to see how they're both doing in the league. Because things don't quite line up with the Thai league schedule, they are mid-season. In fact, they're more than mid-season, and they're a long way into it. And the two teams that we were looking at, and this was almost luck really, because we started with the teams that we felt that we could play in that would be of interest. Girona and Almeria both doing really well, both battling for promotion. It is pretty tight at the top, 8 points between the top 5, but my initial thought was to go with what we first decided on, which was Almeria. So we instructed our agent to have a chat with Almeria, and it didn't go well. They turned us down. We could potentially have tried again, but I decided in the end, let's give Girona a call, let's tap them up. And things went a bit better. And as it stands, we have an offer in from Girona, top of the Segunda Division. It's a nice city, both Girona and Almeria, not that exciting to be fair. And what attracted me to Almeria as a city is it's right on the Spanish south coast. Imagine the weather there, oh, it'd be beautiful. You can pretty much see Africa. There's nothing particularly notable about the city itself, except for it is in that sort of region of Spain where the tapas you get when you order a beer is actually free. If you've ever been to somewhere like that, then you know the joy of that. But, alas, they didn't go for it. Girona, a lovely city as well. Be perfectly happy there. So, I was sort of thinking, that's it. We go to Girona, that's great. We've got a chance of promotion, lovely. But then a curveball was chucked in, which created the opportunity for this episode, this mini episode, sort of sub-episode. Let's take a look, shall we? List of offers. Boom! Fluminense. Boom! Brazilian Serie A giants. I mean, they're not such giants anymore, but they popped up. And we could have some good fun here. I'd quite like... Imagine playing in Serie A. Imagine the experience of that. Playing in some of those local Segunda Division matches in tiny stadiums would be alright. But playing at some of the incredible stadiums across Brazil for a side with the history and fan base of Fluminense against some of the incredible sides that you'd be up against there, that's an experience that it's going to be hard for us to turn down, I have to say. We're going to have to play as a right back, and we would get to play alongside a similar player to Nasser Barazai actually, a much praised youngster who didn't quite make it in Ganso. Still got that passing ability though, 64 speed, but we'll ignore that. A couple of good strikers up top. I don't actually know or have any way of knowing how they did last season. We're being offered the exact same contract with both teams, except for the Fluminense is a bit of a longer contract. We're only being offered a 1 year at Girona. Francisco, happy chappy there. It's tempting, it is tempting. I won't go into too much more detail about the sides now, but we'll just remind ourselves of Girona, how they're going to line up. The attacking style suits us fine. Short pass possession game. Down the centre in theory, but it's flexible positioning. So from that right midfield or right back position, we can certainly make inroads. You can see why they're doing so well this season. It's a solid setup here. They've got some good players. They are lacking a bit of quality on the right though, and I think there's a great opportunity for us to step in there. Stuani, the ageing striker, has still got a lot of goals in him, I'm sure. And we're going to be dropped in to what could well be a promotion push. On the other hand though, Fluminense really is quite an exciting option. Not only is this a side that was founded in 1902, but the Big Flu, as they're known, play their games at no less than the Maracanã. Yes, we would be living in Rio de Janeiro. That is almost too good an opportunity to pass up. Imagine that. Imagine. They've not had much success recently. They have won 4 titles in their time. And compared to Girona, that certainly gives them the edge, who have won 1 Catalonian Super Cup in their time, actually in 2019, so pretty recently. But outside of that, Girona have actually only spent 2 years in the first division of Spanish football. They are very much a second division side. In fact, they've spent much of their history even lower than that. There is no comparison when it comes to the prestige of the two sides. And that Fluminense, as we saw already, short pass possession game, it's exactly the same. We'd be playing as a right back, definitely. I can't see us wanting to retrain here, so we would be continuing our time as a not very good defender, but I feel in Brazil would fit in beautifully. And we get to play with a couple of really good players. Iago Felipe looks quality. Good striker. Miguel is lacking, but they've got Nene on the bench, who is quality and surely would be playing. We'd be playing in a really good side. I'd love to know how they finished last season, but I don't think we can. But there we are. 2 incredible teams to choose from. As I said, I'd love to hear your opinions. I'd love to hear your comments in general. But we will certainly be moving to one of those 2 sides, there's no doubt about that. So go and like the comment with the respective team that you think we should move to in the comments of this episode. The team with the most likes on their comment will get 1 vote, 1 extra vote, 1 cumulative vote from all the non-patrons. The patrons will obviously have the biggest say. And if you haven't already become a patron, I'd love it if you did. If you don't want to, you can't afford it, look, we're absolutely cool. All you need to do is like the video now, get a Tim Sherwood Passion token, and we are even. There's no doubt about it. But if you did have $1 a month to contribute, then it would mean a hell of a lot to me. And as I mentioned, it's going to actually work out quite well for you soon, but more on that to come. So I'm so excited about whichever of the 2 paths our career takes. If we go to Spain, we've got the potential of ending up in La Liga very, very soon. If we go to Brazil, we've got the potential, well, not even the potential, we're going to be playing in the Maracanã week in, week out. And we've got a good chance in a decent side of putting a run together there. And that is surely going to get us noticed on a bigger stage. We could stay a season there, do well, end up in the Copa Libertadores, play all that stuff out. We came to love South American football in Master League Story Mode last season, or I certainly did. And I would not be mad about going back there at all. So, let me know. Let's do this. And in the next episode, boom, we're going to be straight in there, starting the next chapter of this story. I'll see you in a bit.